Michael, front page of the Washington Post has a bunch of interviews with some new folks this morning, but let me go through a quick timeline of events here and how this all came up. This rumors of him sexually assaulting women have been around Hollywood for years.
Right.
But it came back in October. A comedian, Hannibal Buress, basically called Cosby a rapist during a stand-up routine, and that routine went viral. Then, November 13th, Barbara Bowman wrote an essay, Bill Cosby Raped Me, put that in the Washington Post. November 16th, a publicist, Joan Tarshis, writes an essay for Hollywood Elsewhere recounting 2 times where she alleges that she was raped by Cosby. November 18th, an interview with Entertainment Tonight model Janice Dickinson alleges being assaulted by Cosby. And of course, the fallout. NBC, Netflix pull projects with Cosby. On November 19th, 3 more women come forward on November 20th. Michael, you wrote this book on Cosby. Is this something that the world, that a whole bunch of people knew about, but a lot of us didn't?
I think so. It was an open secret to many people, at least the allegations. But as Dr. King was fond of quoting, truth crushed the earth will rise again. And you can't anticipate what will happen. The internet, 10 years later. I wrote a book 10 years ago. Mr. Cosby was highly irate. A new biography that's come out talked about his hatred of me, and I understand that because I challenged him. And I challenged him on the fact that he was going around the country giving moral lessons of condescending elements to young African-American people, and they were nasty and vicious.
And this is where the retaliation is coming from a little bit, right? It's sort of it's more because he was basically preaching.
Well, he's throwing rocks and he's living in a glass house. And so people, that contradiction will always get you sunk.
You know, Amy, it's interesting, you know, Bill Cosby, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm sure you just sit there.
Right.
I think no one, before there was Oprah, Bill Cosby did more, I think, to bridge white and black America together culturally in a way that seemed to be inclusive, not exclusive.
I'm a child of the 80s. I grew
Yeah,
up with the
all right.
Cosby Show.
That's a Cosby Show. My kids watched Little Bill. I grew up with Fat Albert. I mean, there's so much about Cosby that just seemed just nothing but
I just
positive.
sort of feel like, and this has been happening a lot, even just this week, the allegations coming out of the University of Virginia and fraternity system there, that it is almost like every day there is another element here, and being the female on the panel, where you do feel as if all of these institutions that were supposed to protect women, the people that we saw as icons, that were out there as people we looked up to, it's all sort of crumbling away. And so I think it's a broader statement to culturally on why people feel so disconnected and so frustrated with what do we want to call the establishment, because it's not doing what it was supposed to do.
You know, there's the expression "Say it ain't so, Joe" came from Shoeless Joe Jackson,
Right.
and he gambled. And Joe, I feel that I sit there with Cosby, and you're like, just say it ain't so. I mean, I think part of the reluctance for a long time by the mainstream media to cover this is because nobody wants to believe it.
Well, he's a transformative figure. I mean, he's a transformative figure. You talk about the Cosby Show in the 80s. You could talk about Fat Albert in the 70s. I was born in Atlanta, Georgia in 1963. I can tell you in the Deep South in 67, 68, 69, my parents were playing Bill Cosby records. Remember when you used in the ice?
Those comedy albums, yeah.
Bill Cosby was transformative. That's what, you know, Mika, my co-host, has said,
I've heard of her.
Why aren't people more interested in talking about this? And I said, for 2 reasons. One, the reluctance, because he's a transformative figure. Secondly, 40 years later, it's hard enough to prove a negative in real time. Now, all of this is coming out 40 years later.
And a man has legitimated. Hannibal Buress is a comedian, and an comment off the
and all of a sudden that's what goes viral.
Well, yeah, but what's interesting, it legitimates women's experiences. Unfortunately, that's part of the rape culture that's been challenged, and the internet has done so in a very powerful way.
Question,
it has.
You know,
Governor,
later, how does he prove the negative?
Well, no, that's you can't. And you don't unring the bell. By the way, the bell's never been unrung.
Yeah.
He's now going to always be known as an alleged rapist.
I think 2 points. One, Bill Cosby needs a real crisis manager to come out and not just say, okay, this is discredited. He needs to come out and face these charges. Secondly, you know, my wife Barbara handled, when we were in office, a lot of these sexual abuse, rape, domestic violence. There's still a judicial system that doesn't respond adequately to dealing with these problems. And we have to do that on a national basis.
There's always a difference between the public person and the private person, and regardless of his positions on social positions, even society's positions, I think it's time, not presuming guilt or innocence, but it's time for this part, the private part, to be focused.
Well, Amy brings up a good point about the UVA situation, what's going on there and this, which is it does feel as if women have a harder time proving this for some reason.
Well, and they're big major
Yes.
figures and institutions that
Are
make it
powerful
very hard.
against
And
us.
even in this day and age, it seems amazing.
All right, before we go, I want to congratulate my friend and colleague and mentor.